Good morning. Hey, you guys want a mug? We have merch. You ever have one of those mornings? I guess afternoons. Or how about, do you have any of those? You ever wonder, you go, well, why is Brian? Sometimes he's like spot on at noon. Sometimes it's 12:08. Well, one of those reasons could be a browser update. Okay, well, that wasn't here when the show was set up. Guess we got to run this update. Fantastic. Another one could be my cat is laying in his bed underneath the air conditioner with the air conditioner on with the vent there, and he doesn't normally like that. He likes the hottest areas of the sun. So why is he laying in it? And then you look at it and go, I've never seen any cat lay in a position like that. You don't want to startle your cat. So you talk to your cat, but he doesn't move. And you go, hey, bear. Is that what you're supposed to say when a bear comes by? Hey, bear. You can get big. Ben is fine. But he put a scare into me. He popped up and did his thing. Unlike so many of those animals under El Sayed, Abdul Rahman El Sayed, there might even be another name in there. He ran the animal shelter. And it's not just that like 4,000 to 5,000 animals were butchered while he was in charge of that. And it's not so much that the Sharia that guides him until his final breath. I don't think there's a large love for dogs in that particular community, Islam. But it was rats and piled up fecal matter and abuse, really. It was just disgusting treatment of the animals as if they were subhuman, as if they were infidels or something. I don't know. Is it fair to hurl all of that at what is his name? Let's just have Mike Rogers win, and we can say, what's his name? What was that guy's name? It's kind of unfair, and it's kind of fair. It's a terrible place, those animal shelters. That's why I've fostered and adopted so many animals over the years. Deplorable conditions. But Mr. Bean was okay. I checked on his buddy. Hey there. Hey, bear. Just going, you're not just going to pass in your sleep, are you? I mean, at this point, though, wouldn't it be a blessing to finally have an animal that passes in his sleep? Every pet we've had it's been a traumatizing finale all too often. My neighbor who fostered one of the outdoor cats in Los Angeles, she was like, "Oh, I'll never have a cat again. I'll never have a pet again. I can't take the pain of saying goodbye." And it's like, well, the pain of loss is the price of love. You know, if you don't give a shit, you let the shit pile up like at the dog kennel, because they're dogs and they're filthy and they're, not to say that was intentional, but, doesn't it seem like people give different treatment to different things if they like those things or if they don't like those things? You could look at the straight, white, Christian, conservative, male, American. Look how poorly that particular demographic has been treated by the Democrats. And they wonder where their voting base went. And all the young dopes are going socialist. Good job, Dems. Where has Mr. Bean? Where's Mr. Ben? Yeah, he does not jump up into the program like Nimbus did. Nimbus always wanted to be front and center. Nimbus, I mean, if it was a cable repair guy, he'd come right up and, hey, what's going on? I'm Nimbus. How are you? It was nice that Nimbus got to reconnect with Izzy, his former roommate in Los Angeles, a couple months ago before Nimbus passed. But yeah, anyway, that was how my day began. But every day it's something. YouTube is changing some sort of monetization policy. I don't know what that is. Restream took away 5 of our streaming capabilities. So I got to pick Twitch or Kick. Maybe I'll just go to Restream or to StreamYard. I don't know. Got to check how long I'm paid up until. I think that goes March to March. Forget how much that is. 20 bucks a month, 15 a month, 10 a month, something like that. 15 a month. It's always something. But on today's show, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about silencers returning. Hey, I'm all for ear protection. Tinnitus is a real thing. Where's Mr. Bean? Where's Mr. Ben? Yeah, I could, like clockwork, and it took a while because I used to like look out of my peripheral and see Nimbus coming up. And then toward the end, I didn't want him to try to make the big jump because he was having mobility issues, and I'd pick him up and set him in. So yeah, I mean, there is something in society, the way that you treat animals. It reveals a lot about your temperament, your character, your soul. And yeah, I don't like the cut of that El Sayed's jib at all. Am I saying that right? Jib? I don't like the cut of your jib. Yeah, something like that. Everybody smash the thumbs up button. Let's make sure everybody in the room has remembered to smash the like button. And there's a little arrow. If you click it, it copies the link. Share it on Facebook. Share it on... Oh, speaking of Facebook, let me see if Facebook is streaming the show today. It's not, because why would it? I only set it up to stream the show. Every day, people. Every day we got something stupid happening with our stream. It's okay. This is what I knew I was signing up for when we relaunched this program, sort of rebranded Agree to Disagree into the TNAM Daily Show. It appears as though we're streaming on Facebook. Maybe we can get a confirmation comment over there, but let me hit double refresh, and I still don't see the red circle around the image. Now I see the live image, live red circle. Okay, good. We're back. We're going to talk about silencers returning. That's good. What about the white coat wolves? You know, damn. I got to figure out how in depth I want to get with these white wolves in white coats. This report that was released. It's brutal. It's brutal how at-risk youth were experimented on and butchered and permanently disfigured, altered, ruined. You know, there's that's all, folks. There's some stories that I might need to be in the right mood to handle. I don't know that I'm in the right temperament for this right now. By the way, my temperament is pretty even keel at the moment. I'm pretty... I don't know that I want to invite that fired up energy, because when you hear what these doctors and these Democrats and these deep staters were doing to these children, you know, when they say it takes a village, I mean, kids must be protected from Mengele doctors, Munchausen mommies, crazy people, and be given love and compassion and support and discernment and education. And they should be protected until they're 18. And if you technically become an adult and you decide that you want to get face tattoos or life-altering, oh hormones and surgeries. And if you want to pay for it, you can go at it. I would strongly advise that you take a listen to some of the detransitioners and some of the horror stories of people that were convinced this thing that they were going to go through was simple or easy or normal or natural or okay. And they, in their own words, have said that their lives are ruined, never to be returned. So now your tax dollars aren't funding these unnecessary genital mutilation surgeries. So that's good. We read you that report from the MAGA administration from President Trump. But it is still happening. And I think the people involved probably need to be disbarred. Well, not disbarred. What do they call it with a doctor? Defrocked? Dedocked? It's like defrocked if you take that little white thing off of a priest, right? You've been defrocked. Dedocked. Lose your medical license, your ability to practice medicine. What's the word for that? Disbarred, I guess, for juries is what they would call, or for judges rather, or attorneys rather. That's where I got that. Judges and attorneys came to juries. That's where that occurred. Kenneth says hormones can be purchased on street corners. I hear. Me love you long time. Remember that song, Two Live Crew? Oh, good grief. Dina says, I heard that those who transitioned, and I don't like the term transition. It's not like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. There is no transition that can take a male and make them female. There's no transition that can take a female and make them male. You can have, I mean, you could have as many plastic surgeries as you feel would make you present more female-like or male-like, but you don't transition. You don't transition from a high school graduate to a college graduate. You know, you go from this 4 years and then you go into college. I'm now a collegiate athlete. I've transitioned into that. I've grown into that. I am now a professional football player. I've transitioned into an NFL professional player. You don't transition into something you cannot become. And by the way, if you want to live your life that way, hey, not my cup of coffee, but you do you, boo. It's all good. I don't care. It's just some basic provisions. Stay out of the locker rooms of the other. Stay out of the bathrooms of the other, but I repeat myself. Stay off the volleyball team against the same groups of people. It's not a big ask. But if you become 18 and want to spend your money and make a decision to get face tattoos or have your arm amputated, you do you, boo. Just, you know, we're not going to be doing this thing trying to groom and confuse children. That's not a part of the necessary educational cycle. So no, we don't need drag queens reading to toddlers, to infants. We're good. You have your personal life choice or your personal kink or your personal fetish, and you got your thing going on, and you're doing your thing, and you're harming nobody else. In a libertarian-ish society, that's what you're supposed to be doing, right? You're supposed to kind of live and let live. So your fixation on the children to not let them live and let live, but to change them, confuse them, indoctrinate them, radicalize them, prey upon them. You know, these are just non-allowable activities. There's lines in the sand. That's it. And J.D. Vance and Bobby Kennedy and the person who replaced Richard Levine, they had some thoughts on the wolves in white clothing. So it's a big story. We're going to cover that. Also, Democrats are protecting illegal truckers. You know, you got the big rigs up there being piloted by people that don't know how to read English, comprehend English, speak English. How were these people passing tests in English on English roads? Well, American roads written in the language of English. Yeah, not a thing. Not a thing that we need to be promoting. So, of course, Democrats would be trying to block releasing the information about how many illegal aliens and non-qualified, non-English speak. One of the very few rules you need to be out on the roadways is to understand and comprehend the road signs. I was at a bachelor party one time. How many great stories start with? So I was at a bachelor party this one time. Yeah. We had a boat. We were on a lake, Lake Norman, outside of Charlotte. Like, oh, there's Michael Jordan's house. Oh, that's where Oprah lives. Oh, that's Dale Earnhardt's place. You're like, yeesh. But somehow I ended up piloting this craft. Somehow I probably might have volunteered. But there were some signs. I didn't have to take a test to hop on that boat and start motoring. You know, and there were some signs. I'm not avid in the waterways, and I was unfamiliar with what some of these things are. No wake, similar to no sleep till Brooklyn, but no wake till water. No wake was just like, I think that means just don't be an asshole. Spin it. Shoot a big wave over, flip something over. I think that's what no wake means, right? But there were other things, and like sometimes I was like, uh-oh, did the motor just hit something shallow? What does that sign mean? At some point I go, guys, I don't quite understand what that is, and I don't quite understand what that is. A little unqualified to navigate this boat moving forward, so I'm going to not do that. So Democrats, of course, are defending the people that don't have any business being on our roadways. Gibberish. What's up, Gibberish? In the Rumble section says, leave the children alone. It's another thing that has no business in school curriculum or only option for library. Yeah, library children's book readings. Yeah. People in chat talking about Candace. Is that happening now? I wonder if I could check in on that. Is that being streamed somewhere? Let's see. Charlie Kirk. What is this? Charlie Kirk challenges Hassan Piker on socialist consistency. I think that was where I met him in 2018. 2018? Maybe it was 2017 Politicon. Minnesota voting stuff. Okay. Let me see. I want to search Candace debate. Okay. Is it happening? I think it is happening. Oh, who's Patrick Bet David moderating? All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a couple clips of that just because it's happening. What I don't like about boats, no brakes. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's different. It's different. You know, we should have some basic level of competency. All right. Well, we got a lot of information to cover today. Instagram for the New American Media is jam-packed with stories. X at American_media_ is packed with stories. And everybody, please consider we are just about halfway through the month of August. And we need August to be as strong as it was in July. We had a very good month of July. And we're looking for another great month right now. We are crowdfunded. We're like PBS, except cool. I don't know. I used to watch PBS growing up. What is that Miss Rachel? Where is she at? She's not on PBS, right? I guess she's really a wolf in sheep's clothing, it seems. No, I'd watch those things, the Sesame Streets and the Mr. Rogers and the, just whatever. Mind rot television. But look, the point is, we deliver you content Monday through Friday, as well as documentaries, interviews, one-on-ones, all sorts of things, music, sports, politics, funded by viewers like you. So my ask, instead of trying to sell you coffee or survival beans at this stage, at this particular moment, is please consider going to Patreon. Now, let me change that. Everybody, please go to patreon.com/thenewamericanmedia. Now, from there, you may pick two choices. Either sign up for the free account and just follow us for free. Costs nothing. You shoot an email. You're good. You're in. Or for whatever denomination you are capable of signing up for and parting with each month, please consider becoming a monthly sponsor. It just bypasses the gatekeepers of social media that have taken the New American Media down so many times with demonetization, with shadow bans, deranking, deboosting content, deleting personal profiles, deleting private groups, deleting public pages. No cause, no explanation, no opportunity to remedy any alleged issue. This has happened to us on Twitter. It's happened to us on Facebook personal profile, Facebook company page, Facebook private groups. It's happened to us on Google, YouTube ad revenue. We have two different videos in the process of one is 6 days away and one is 17 days away from a 30-day appeal process for copyright claim, because some little random piece of music might have been underlaid in a video that was being played so that we could diagnose and then provide unique, original, transformative commentary upon from something on our X or Instagram feed, which, by the way, under fair use provisions, we are definitely allowed to do that. But there's just that little trick of adding just like the tiniest little, it's like a hint of a chord, maybe a couple plunks on a piano, or just like the C chord on a piano. Just hit it once and just let it ride for 15 seconds, then go to G. This is what we face. So your support is way more important than trying to build organically on social media, because it's hardly organic, highly filtered, highly censored. But I will say this, I will give credit to YouTube. During the Trump administration, we have been allowed to build our monetization back. And so, along with Rumble and Patreon, you can sign up on YouTube, Rumble, or Patreon to become a monthly sponsor. Do it for $1,000, $500, $100, $50, $20, $15, $5, as little as $5 a month. Whatever you're comfortable with, please consider signing up. Set it and forget it. Every 30 days, it'll bill to that ancillary credit card on the side. The Discover that you rarely use. Please consider that. If you want to drop one-time Rumble Rant tips, toss some silver coins into the tip jar. They will be appreciated this month. I'll tell you what. Rumble Rant tips and Super Chat tips. Just set up your account to handle it once, and you can tip whenever you're feeling feisty, whenever you're feeling frosty. Toss some silver coins into your bartender's tip jar. Because I'm Brian, the bartender. We're going to talk about all the stories on the screens behind me. That's what we do Monday through Friday at noon Eastern time here on the New American Media's TNAM Daily Show. I did mention merch. We're running a special, August special. Let's go. You want to get all 4 pieces of merch? These are wooden Ohio-made coasters, 4 per pack, 30 a pack, or 2 for $50. If you want one, just tell me if you want Ohio shape or circle shape, or the Unhappy Hour Sports Show pin. Only 100 made of those. A mug, $40. All 4 for 100. Shoot me a Venmo with your address, and I'll get those mailed out, usually by next mailing day. Usually. So, thank you for being here. hit thumbs up, hit like, share the show with a friend, be active in the comments. Please consider going back to some of our others. Oh, our podcast. It's still under the Agree to Disagree Show name. That's how we started it many years ago. We just dumped the TNAM Daily Show in there. It's the same upload podcast. Maybe I'll split them up at some point, but for now, it's don't besmirch the merch. Exactly. Never besmirch the merch. It sounds like something a Smurf would say. Besmurf the merch. But yeah, hit our podcast, the Agree to Disagree Show. That could be a fun one. The Agree to Disagree Show. Join us over there. We can just circumvent the social media places and just deliver straight content. So, all right, I never did an official intro to today's program, so let's do it now. Let's do a double intro. In honor of Scott Adams, the show I would have still enjoyed waking up and listening to. Yeah, we'll do our intro and then a simultaneous sip. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of a vandalized World War II monument. My name's Brian Engelman. Today is Friday, August 14, 2026. And this right here, the thing that you are watching, well, it is called the TNAM Daily Show here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. You know the topics we're covering. And so before we launch, I'd like to invite you to join us in a simultaneous sip if you'd like to participate. All you need is a cup or mug or glass, a tank of chalice or stein, a canteen, jug or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill up your favorite liquid. I like coffee. And join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. And it's called the simultaneous sip. And it happens now. Go! That might have been my fastest one yet. Buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. I'm not seeing this story reported. Oh, okay, here we go. On Friday, he did do this. This is from an hour ago. Luigi Mangione has pled guilty. All right, man, we got a lot of stories to get to. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, everybody. Let's go ahead and pull up our Instagram feed, and we will ask that you follow us at The New American Media. We had a few new follows yesterday. We need more. Everybody start an Instagram account or two and follow The New American Media. We're just 28 followers away. Everything's glitched here. Let me hit refresh. Okay. Yeah, follow us on this glitchy site. Why is Instagram glitching like this? This is different. Am I still online? Exit page. Okay. Oh, they took away 2 followers just now. I'm telling you, they mess with my account so much on the New American Media. We were at 972 and they just took away 2. No reason for that. Gosh, we got a bunch of stories here. Let's get to them. Okay, what do we got?
And Jimmy Alexander.
Oh, okay, we got a story here. Let's take a listen to this. This whole thing was filmed and the DA still wants charges dropped. Are you kidding me?
The alleged beating caught the attention of Chatham County Sheriff Richard Coleman back.
Chatham County. Where is this? Pooler gas station, Chatham County. The DA, viral video, gas station. What state is this? Comments say a Google search shows this is an ongoing theme with this district attorney. She let an alleged artist with 27 priors go free. S crimes, and he hasn't been forced to register. Chatham County DA Shalina Jones. Okay, Chatham County, what state? What does that say down there? WTBC? I don't know where that is. But anyway, this is a reminder that it's very important to know who the district attorneys are, and it's very important to not let the wrong people make the district attorney decisions wherever you happen to live.
In February, leading to the arrest of Motrion Williams, Ronnie Scott, and Jimmy Alexander.
Lead investigator Shay Schrader joins us live in the studio. And Shay, you've learned the case may be dropped entirely?
Yes, we obtained internal emails between District Attorney Shalina Cook-Jones and Sheriff Coleman where she privately warned him that his investigators are making high-profile arrests without the evidence to back them up. And if it continues, the DA may decline to prosecute cases coming from the sheriff's office altogether. Moved quickly to make arrests.
I'm telling you, I'm coming for you.
Documenting much of the investigation on social media.
Social media is a norm now. It's a way of communicating. It's a way of being transparent. And, we wanted to send a message the way the message was sent to us. And to the community and to the people.
Once the arrests were made, investigators handed the case to the district attorney's office. Internal emails obtained by WTOC Investigate show prosecutors were alarmed by what was missing from the case.
Chatham County, Georgia. There we go. Thank you.
Case file. Assistant District Attorney Sarah Moorhead contacted the lead investigator on the case, Trey Connors, and outlined 10 pieces of missing evidence, including warrants with the actual date of the incident.
The alleged beating caught the attention of Chatham County Sheriff Richard.
You got to be really careful in blue cities, and you got to be really careful about the district attorneys, and we got to find a way to start. I've called on an American court. You got the Supreme Court. Let's create something different. 2 representatives, 1 from each state. Retired judges in good standing. 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, if you want to put it that way. I don't know. If you have judges or district attorneys that are doing stuff that's just ridiculous, they should be called in front of the United States court and defend their decision. And if not, they should be stripped. They should be defrocked. Derobed. We've got a big problem in the justice system. Big problem. I don't know if there's ever been less faith in the justice system than there is now, because it just seems like all the bad getting away with everything. Sort of makes it not that it makes it hard to want to be a good guy, but it sort of makes it seem pointless to be a good guy if you can succeed by being a bad guy. All right, where do I watch this Candace debate live? Where is this? Is it on her X? Gina says, I feel like this is Andrew versus Andrew. No, she's actually insane. She's steamrolling the entire conversation, not answering direct questions, gaslighting every point because she's pathologically incapable of admitting she was wrong even once. The way she does it is almost impressive, calculated, deviant, and pure narcissism. Candace canceled her show and went quiet on X, faces Andrew Wilson live. No more monologues or controlling the frame. So where is it? Where do I watch this thing? I was doing research to find out how many dogs, 4,448 dogs plus a few hundred cats euthanized by Detroit Animal Care and Control Center, DACC, in the 2015 to 17 period. that overlaps with Abdul Rahman El Sayed's time as executive director and health officer of Detroit Health Department. Health Department took over supervision of animal control from the police in the fall of 2015. So the data is a little unclear for the broader 10-year picture. That's what I was trying to get. Man, I'm bouncing around from story to story. But yeah, we can dislike El Sayed for a lot of reasons. Let's go to X link to watch Candace live. And see if Grok can find that for me. Maybe we could check in. Yeah, Dina, good question. Why did Candace and Alex and Tucker, Nick Fuentes, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson. There have been a lot who have bailed on President Trump. All right, so the debate is here.
The probative information.
Yeah, we're talking about the information that we just reviewed. That's not the text messages.
They never presented it. The state never put it on.
Yeah, they didn't. The defense could easily still have presented this. Yeah.
No.
They could have said they're
no.
No, they're not allowed to. Are you sure?
In a preliminary hearing,
yeah.
the defense is engaging with whatever evidence the state decides to put on. They did not put this on as evidence. Brian Davis was up there.
So they're not allowed to present anything?
They're responding to the state's evidence.
I'm asking, are they allowed to present anything?
They are allowed to say...
Like if there was a conspiracy that they could prove right then and there, would they present that in one of these hearings?
No, it wouldn't be the right time for that.
I disagree. I think that they not only could do it, but they would do it. In fact, when I talked in depth with my attorney, they said that's exactly, if you had actual evidence that there was fabrications by the feds, that's exactly when you would introduce that.
So when in the document that they filed yesterday or a couple of days ago, the appropriate, like what you're doing.
I love the need for a moderator.
At this stage of the hearing is the state is saying we have enough evidence that we think this needs to go forth to trial. Hence the reason that there's this extraordinary.
Of course, this is the debate. Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens. I think Candace was paid $300,000 by Andrew Wilson. This dude's rolling in that much money where he can throw money at 300,000. I don't know if that's the final number. I heard that bandied about. And do you really need to be paid to debate? What happened to Charlie Kirk and who's responsible?
We allow hearsay because it doesn't really need to be perfect. It can be enough that we feel like we can move forward, right? And okay, I disagree with that in general when somebody's rotting in prison, but whatever. The next phase is for them to meet in court and for the defense to essentially present an argument to the state that says, we find this filing to be defective in and of itself. We don't even have to defend ourselves because you, the state, have enough, you know what the laws are on the books, and this filing is defective and you should get rid of these charges because they don't make sense based on what you can decide based on a law on the books. So then that's why they then file the dismissal. Right. So in the dismissal, what they're doing is they are engaging, and this is what was widely misinterpreted.
Well, yeah, they're engaging as though as it's a hypothetical. If this is hypothetically true, then
so they're saying all of
these
charges.
I'm not disputing any of that.
So that's what you're asking. Why you're saying could they just put
what I'm asking specifically is like who could shut parents up who are like, no way, there's no possible. This never happened. This is ridiculous. They would be shouting it on CNN. They would be shouting it from the rooftops. They would be losing their minds. And you're like, nope, the gag order would be enough to keep them quiet. Not enough for them to talk to your source, but enough to keep them quiet. I think that that's quite ridiculous. But I'll even concede this whole point to you. Let's just say maybe this was misconstrued, right? There's a little bit of reason to doubt it because we're still waiting for the evidence for trial. If that's the case, then why not take the same standard for the evidence that you present? You're just waiting for trial.
Well, you didn't do that.
Wait a second.
We're here.
Wait a second. I just want to make sure that I got this right. That's your argument to me, right?
My argument to you is what?
Your argument to me is that, hey, wait a second, Andrew. There's not enough here that convinces me, right?
Well, that's actually my rebuttal to you, is that you are saying, why are people engaging in what you term to be conspiracy theories?
No.
I term it to be thinking. They're just thinking because they're recognizing there are a lot of holes in these stories and that this is not strong evidence, right? this is the reason they're doing it. I'm explaining to you, this is the reason that they're doing it. I'm addressing what you view to be overwhelming evidence. And by the way, I want to be clear.
That which convinces me.
Yeah, well, but thus far, every point that you've brought up, every point that you've brought up, did you feel like this is beyond a reasonable doubt? I mean, you realize
remember what I said in my opening.
Going to be
it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's just what I find convincing is what I find overwhelming.
So why are
this sort of is a debate that's happening in a lot of text message threads and conversations over beverages. Who are you? Just let me quick. We're not going to watch this whole thing. We'll wait for some highlights. We got a couple highlights to share with you, but let's see. Agree or disagree? Would you agree or disagree with the Candace side of the story? On the Candace side, I mean, far be it from me to try to summarize the French Legion and the bees and the dreams and the other things. But I think the crux of it would be, do you agree or disagree with Candace that almost every relevant piece of information, with air quotes, about the assassination of Charlie Kirk is incorrect? Do you agree with Candace that there's mountains of obvious lies and that the true assassin of Charlie Kirk is not going to trial? And if I'm misrepresenting her position there, I'm not intending to, but we've been following this for a long time. Do you agree or disagree with Candace? Tell me in chat, QOTD. Agree or disagree with Candace?
you so upset when people say they don't find it convincing?
If that was the limitation of the claims that you made, if it was just, wait a second, there's a little bit of problems, there's some problems in this case that I have questions for that I want answers to, nobody'd have a problem, actually.
And I think I agree with that. I've stood up for Candace and said if something untoward were to happen to me, I hope I have some friends that would lift up every rock on earth and try to figure out what the heck is happening. I would want to know. And I'd want people looking. All right, well, that's what they want you to think. Who's they? You know who they is. Don't make me say it. Thanks, Obama. That was like the 2010 version of thanks the Jews. But not even that. I've defended Candace's right. And if something were to happen to me, I want my friends asking as many questions. Let's make sure. Let's be very sure that the official story is actually legitimate. I'm totally cool with that. I want that. I support that. Did Candace go too far? Patriot Warrior in Rumble says, question of the day, disagree with the nut job Candace. Also, in the first part of this, she was all over the place. Yeah, I haven't caught any of that. Kenneth would agree mostly with Candace that most of what we're hearing is a lie. Kirk was ghosted, taken to Shangri-La. Well, there are theories. I don't know how. I mean, I watched that video. That didn't appear to be CGI. It appeared to be obvious what happened. Although my initial thought was something ricocheted up off of his, maybe he had some body armor on and hit the chest and came up from there. And if the eye test shows you, well, maybe it could have been a lavalier that just shot through right there. What happened next? That was a visual you just sort of want to unsee, you know? But there was that theory that Charlie was taken off the board, but he's still alive. And I'm like, unless what do they say? Believe none of what you read and half of what you see. We've all seen the magician trick. I mean, that's a big stretch. Is it possible? I would need to see some really compelling information to buy into that. Okay, show me if you got it, but maybe it was that guy that did it. I'm open to the fact maybe it's not, but I'm not convinced it's a lie. I think Candace has come off that way. Like, she's convinced that a lot of these things are false. And it's like, well, based on what? Just because it's every time you talk about it, you're getting more clicks and more money? Well, maybe that's an ancillary benefit. Maybe it's the whole point all along. Who knows? Maybe it's somewhere in between. Marion says, question of the day, Candace can be cuckoo to me. Joker Poker says, I don't know what Candace's version is, but I think the Charlie explanation stinks to high heaven. Mainly with the rifle, the 30-06, is that the biggest thing to you? That it's unlikely that a round of that size would not completely demolish the target? I mean, Joker may have fired a slug through a target with me, knocking out a hole pretty substantial. The 30-06 round is, something that takes down rhinoceroses. Not something that hits in the neck and then disappears down the body. You go, I don't know. Kenneth saying, well, we see a Kirk 2028. Look, Charlie Kirk, I've said it so many times. A likely, or at least potential future president was taken off the board. That was a big loss for the Republicans and the GOP and for the youth of the country. And you could disagree with him on some things that he said, but he was smart about a lot of stuff, a lot of factual stuff. He was not getting wrong. You might dislike it. Hearing Charlie Kirk say things that you might feel very personally because, well, he's talking about me and my decisions. Well, maybe he is. We're all allowed to have our opinions. But are we still allowed to have our opinions? Marion agrees with what Joker said, that the Charlie explanation stinks to high heaven. Rob agrees none of it makes sense. And he has to wonder why they don't see it. Joker Poker. That too, Brian. But that kid couldn't even lift a gun with it that heavy with his little silk worms. I have T-Rex arms. Yeah, I wonder how much that weighs. But yeah, anyway, Andrew here in this comment, and it was live, but I've paused it, and we're trying to add some unique, original, transformative commentary to make sure this is fair use protected, of course, because those are the guidelines. He's just saying if you came out with some moderate, reasonable, I got questions about that. That doesn't add up to me. That doesn't. What? What are we talking about here? Okay, that's cool with me. That isn't how Candace came out with a lot of these claims, is what Andrew's saying here.
At least of all me, I would be the least likely person to have an issue with it, you, any of your fans, anybody saying. In fact, I've had tons of Discord calls about this. My position's always been clear. Of course, conspiracies exist. Some of them have way better evidence than others, but I've seen them myself. I know conspiracy. In fact, the federal government has hundreds of thousands of laws about conspiracies. They see them everywhere. We both know this, right? That's never what the problem is. The problem is when you make claims outside of, well, wait a second. I'm just questioning evidence here. I'm just questioning what the state's case is here. I'm just asking questions. It's when you make claims.
And by the way, remember when South Park did that great one? I'm just asking questions, guys. Come on, guys. Cartman turned into Glenn Beck. I'm just asking questions. God, that was good. God, that was good. South Park can be great sometimes.
Outside of that, where you claim that there's good evidence or good standards you should believe because, and then it turns out that it's all nonsense or it's wackadoo stuff or it makes no sense. And when we have a chance to cross-examine your evidence that you've presented, I'm going to show a lot of that. A lot of this conjecture that's based on literally nothing, that leads from no inferences whatsoever. Like, you couldn't even infer it logically. That's the problem. The problem has never been whether or not you just said, you know, there's not enough in this case so far until we get to the trial. I remain unconvinced. I'm sure there's tons of people who remain unconvinced yet until we get to the trial. Yeah. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. There's people who are convinced too.
And we haven't even had a trial yet. It's like, why do I have to? You know, we get into this all the time. Are you pro-Palestine or pro-Israel? It's like, I don't root for the Red Sox or the Yankees. Those aren't my team. Why do I need to jump in on this? Why is this something I need to? Well, did Tyler Robinson do it, or did the Jews do it? And you go, sorry, they don't come right out and say that. That's usually a second or third thing they say. I'm jumping to the punchline, I guess. Who says I need to make a determination on a case where I haven't seen all the evidence yet? There was a preliminary hearing. You know, I think I tried to act the same with Chauvin and Zimmerman. What was that guy's name? Not Bailey Zimmerman. That's a country music star. George Zimmerman or Rittenhouse or Daniel Penny. I mean, go down the lot, dump the bushel of names of people who have been accused of things and watch the trials play out. Get back to me once we've had the actual trial, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking. Like, at this stage, I don't know how anybody could be completely convinced. I mean, you're telling me the car that he drove on campus wasn't his car. You can tell me the video of him wasn't actually him. It was a stunt double. The gun wasn't the real gun. No evidence was found anywhere. The family didn't turn him in. So everything I'm hearing is incorrect. Everything's a lie. That feels more outlandish to me that every one of those key components of what we've seen thus far, that's all incorrect. It's all a lie. Is it? Okay, I'm open to it. Prove it. Show me how every piece of evidence was fake and concocted and this guy's just a patsy or something. You know what I mean? Joker, what's the difference between a conspiracy and the news? Conspiracies are true in 6 months. News is debunked after 6 months. Kenneth is pro-pal with Stein. Of beer, that is. I don't think they drink a lot of beer over in Palestine. Dina says government has people that put out lies on social media, create another conspiracy so you don't see what's really going on. Is that the Smith-Mundt Act? Thanks, Obama. Yeah, and another comparison, conspiracy versus the news. Conspiracy theory versus the news. Conspiracy theories have been reporting on the who, what, where, when, why for a very long time, while the news has spent their energy trying to debunk the truth for personal gain. Usually. Took more than 6 months to get Fauci, but the Bubba Watson story, let's go Brandon. Oh, let's go Brandon. God, that was good. God, was that perfect. Let's go Brandon. Oh, look. The COD saying F Joe Biden. Look, everyone's happy. They're saying, let's go, Brandon. Are we living in a cuckoo clock? We are. Not here on the New American Media. We try to debunk this stuff in real time.
That's never been my problem. My problem is the claims which are external to that.
Okay. I'm not sure I really care if you have a problem with what I think in my own spare time. I don't understand this like lecture that you just gave. But beyond that, what I'm saying is that
what
the
lecture?
state is allowed to use.
I didn't
this
lecture
is what
you.
this is what my problem is. You guys are not allowed. Yeah, you guys think while it's still legal. You can. You are allowed to do that. So, but anyway, going back to you saying I wouldn't have a problem. I think I just demonstrated pretty thoroughly that what you claim that you have a problem with is exactly what the state is engaged in at this stage. So it just doesn't make sense.
That's not the case. In fact,
so if people look and they say, I'm looking at the gun and I see and I'm inferring this, and someone else says, I'm looking at the gun evidence and I'm inferring that, they're both doing the exact same thing.
They're not.
You're just saying, I want to do it for the state.
That's propositionally false.
That is not propositionally
I'll explain
false.
exactly how. It is the case that every proposition is going to have a true or false conclusion. Period.
All right. Anyway, it's going on. We'll get you some highlights for tomorrow. But, you know, there was that claim like Candace won't debate. All right, she's there. She's talking. We'll parse it out tomorrow and see what people think. But yeah, that's happening now. People want to talk about it. So, you know, we talked about it. You want to know fake news? Patriot Warrior says, hell, look at everything President Trump's been accused of. It never ends. I mentioned Glenn Beck a moment ago. So the Blaze TV put this out. A woman who's been in the U.S. since 1989 demands amnesty at a Democrat press conference. And by the way, she cannot speak a single word of English.
Les pido que sean campeones de un cambio a la ley
I heard video cassette.
de migración. Necesitamos una vía a la ciudadanía para todos quienes estamos presentes por 7 años.
Okay, she says allegedly says we need a path to citizenship for those of us who have been in this country at least 7 years. No, you don't. What are we doing? I snuck on the college campus and I started going to lectures. We need to give me a degree. You were never admitted into the college. You don't go there. What? I demand to see every movie in this theater. I snuck in and I only watched 1. No, I actually watched 7, but you have 30 movies and I demand to watch all of them. I've been here for at least 7 movies. Go. This has been the illegal alien scam all along. Just unlimited, let it happen, and then occasional wave a magic wand of amnesty. It's not how this works. It's not how this works. I have said, though, before, there's nuances to the immigration system. And if people who are here and they're not documented, what would it look like for someone to check in and identify yourself? State your name and purpose. You got the flashlight on? State your name. Who are you? Why are you here? If people were willing to show up at their local whatever, wherever across the country, the local police department or something, and go, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm living here in this county. I'm working. I'm not taking from any of you. How do I introduce myself and begin the process to at least identify myself and get the ball rolling? I would like to become American. I would like to speak English. I would like to uphold the values of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'm right there, 12304 such and such street. Okay. I mean, you've been here since 1989. Not a single word of English.
O más en este país y que paren las redadas y la inmigración aterrorizado ver.
I ask that you be champions of a change in the immigration laws. We need a path to citizenship for those of us that have been present at least 7 years in this country. We need a stop to these raids that immigration is using to terrorize Dover.
Terrorize. Many people who broke into the country have been terrorizing American citizens, and you're a part of that group. And if you're not the part that's walked up and said, how do I go out and come back in? I currently live in that place right there. Please run a background check. I've never committed any criminal offense. I was brought here by my parents, whatever sob story, whatever. Run a background check. Identify me. Give me a purple card, not a green card. What steps do I need to go through to become a citizen? Down the road, maybe. But I'm currently working. I want tax to be paid out of this. I'm not taking any welfare money, stealing from American citizens. But hi, I'm raising my hand. I'm filling out the form, taking the picture, run the background check. I am not a threat. I have not caused any problems. I would like to stay. They lifted the gates. Everybody came running in because I was living in a shithole country. I want to be an American. And I don't want to bring my shithole policies here. I don't want to vote communism, socialism, Marxism, Islamism, globalism, all of the isms. I want Americanism. What is that process? What does that fast process look like? But if she's been here for 35, how many years? 1989? Speaking no English? I mean, it doesn't feel like assimilation. We don't need enclaves in America. We need assimilation in America. Oh, Leanne's talking if there's ever an affair between Charlie and Candace. Some people wondered if Candace was an admirer scorned. Don't know. Yeah, great point. Patriots Warriors, like, you've had 30 years to learn English. Get out. He says, nope, I'm not as nice as you. You know, I want to get to the point where we know who the people in here are. We have to. Democrats have done this, and there are too many rhinos that have been wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, I'm so against this. Yeah, are you now? Are you? I can't even begin to describe to you how much less worried I would be about somebody who is not a citizen and cannot vote. We got to fix the birthright citizenship, because kids of illegal aliens should not create legal American citizens. That does, whatever the statutes need to be changed to, that doesn't make sense. You don't get rewarded by anchor babies, birthright citizenship. Oh, it's chain migration. I need to bring my whole kit and caboodle family now because one of us snuck in for good. We got the serial number. We're special. Now I get my whole familia in. What are we doing? Any sovereign nation would look at those practices and go, stop that. No. I got nothing but love for the Mexican community. Lived in Los Angeles, lived in Southern California, went to Mexico multiple times. There's a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of awful stuff with the narco abuses and the corruption. Yeah, I'm so much less concerned about people who have checked in, haven't committed crimes while they're here, eager desire to learn English, pass the civics test, and make sure they're not communist, socialist, Islamist, globalist, that type of crap. Because those policies of those isms are not compatible with the Bill of Rights, the civil liberties of our Constitution. It's just, they're not compatible. If you hold allegiance to communism, socialism, like that, that doesn't mix. It's a good point. We shouldn't have to press 1 to speak English. Yeah, when did that happen? When did that start? No thanks. Anyway, it's not a really compelling case demanding we do stuff for you. But like, to the person who has identified himself and goes, look, I work landscaping. I grew up in Guadalajara. My cousin came here. I came and worked with his team. I've been working ever since. I don't take any welfare. I'm not, that's stealing. I'm not stealing from Americans. I want to learn English, or I can prove my proficiency in understanding, reading, writing, and understanding it. Run a criminal background check. I haven't done anything. Anything you would do if I showed up as a first timer, run the full background check on wherever I came. Like, I'm clean. I'm not a threat to America. I just want to make this I want to succeed here, and I want to make the place around me better. And I want to contribute, not take. To the people that raise their hands and say something like that, like, what do I care if that person's working landscaping? They can't vote because they snuck in. That might be part of the penalty. You never get to vote. Maybe that's the penalty for being a legal alien invader. You should have never done it that way, regardless of what the deep state Democrats told you. Your penalty is you can stay and you can work and you can pay taxes all above the table. You're not allowed to take any welfare money. Don't get to vote, but we won't kick you out. I mean, what is the penalty? I'm not hearing about the penalty phase. She's saying the gimme, gimme phase. I've been here a long time. Give me money.
No es justo que yo esté en este país desde el 1900.
Terrorizing our community. No, while the gates were open, a lot of monsters snuck in. And in order to catch the monsters, everybody must be rounded up. Oh, that's so mean. It's terrorizing a community. Everybody without a wristband at the concert must leave the concert. That's not mean. That's reasonable, rational common sense. Patriot warrior. Nope, no excuses. Get out. Learn English before you get here so that when you take your citizenship test, you will know how to read and write English. What are you bringing to the table? Can you prove what are you bringing to the table today? Colleges don't accept everybody. Well, I've been here for a while. I got here a long time ago. You did? Sorry, you're not on our company roster. You're claiming you work here? Like an Office Space with a swing line stapler or Costanza after he quits and then he's back. What are you doing here? You quit. I was just kidding. Like, you were never even hired here. Why are you showing up to work? You don't work here. Anyway, just the demands. I snuck in a long time ago, so give me everything I want. Anyway. Oh, no. I didn't expect there to be audio of this. Real State of America shows us this one. Democrat-appointed California judge Nichelle Holmes. Nichelle faces mass calls to be removed and held liable for the criminal illegal alien she released, who emmed a U.S. citizen 24 hours after he was set free. Marcos Iriarte Valdez committed the crime barely a day after the activist judge was compassionate and let him walk. Tasia says judges are more dangerous than criminals. This is the video of it.
The chilling surveillance video captures the deadly attack outside a Martinez home Thursday evening. 68-year-old Todd Stewart was stabbed multiple times on Francis Court. Neighbors say he had been working on a project in his garage. Stewart died at the scene. The chilling surveillance.
Why are we letting out known criminal nutbags? To the people that say Trump hasn't done enough and where are the indictments, and I'm in that group, mind you. The judicial branch of the United States is absolutely poisoned and corrupted by activists across the board. And it's been causing so many problems because we've been asleep at the switch for decades. There is so much rot and corrosion to clean out. Criminal illegal alien released in less than 24 hours takes the life of an American. Dina saying, oh, I see. That old lady probably wants Social Security now. Yeah, look at all the things I've never paid into, and I demand them. Give me them. Marion, get out. Follow the rules. Get in the back of the line. Many people have done it the correct way. Joker says, in Michigan, you can vote with no ID, no registration. Just put on a mask and have a voucher. Oh, no, a voucher. Who's your surrogate ID'd? You can ID up to 8 of them. That's what that James O'Keefe video marching for 8 with no ID, and all 9 votes were counted. Project Veritas. Okay. Well.
Individuals and groups.
I hate that audio. Well, let's listen to the police chief in Michigan up here in Dearborn. Eric Daughtry put this one out. He's got a message because there's a protest coming up on the 18th.
Individuals and groups from outside our community may come to the Dearborn City Council meeting on Tuesday, August 18th. We've been monitoring the situation closely and coordinating with our state and federal partners. We have a plan in place, and you'll see an enhanced presence of police officers. But here's my direct ask of our residents. Please stay home. These groups that are coming here are coming for one reason, and that's to provoke a reaction and generate attention. If nobody shows up to react, they have nothing. The most powerful thing that this community can do is refuse to give them an audience. Individuals and groups.
Eric Daughtry says they know that Americans are fed up with the Islamic invasion and keep the protests going. I mean, have a robust, open conversation, right? Marion says, hold the judges accountable and put them in the same jail cell with that criminal they let out. Oh, man. Now,
Individuals and groups.
I'm listening to that one. By the way, thank you all for listening. Top of the hour reminder. We are crowdfunded and we appreciate your support. Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. You can sign up to become a monthly foundational sponsor for the New American Media and the TNAM Daily Show here. So please consider doing that if you haven't yet. Thank you to everybody who has. You can drop one-time Rumble rants and super chat tips. And by the way, it can be 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time. So many times. Rumble rant tips and super chat tips go from your right hand to our left hand to our right hand to the bills that we have. It is super direct and appreciated. Rumble rant tips, super chat tips. And scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Venmo and Cash App, you just use my name, Brian Engelman. And PayPal, you use the email fuzzinstallment at yahoo.com. Kenneth says, have a robust double D conversation. Emphasis on bust. Boy. Hello to Arn. Watching updates from reports on the Summerlin, British Columbia fire. Yeah, what is the latest on the reports, Arn? We need the temperature in Canadian. He gives us his report in Canadian, Celsius. For those of you in Rio Linda, California, the temperature in Canadian is Celsius. Thanks for jumping in. Someone check on David Bann. Haven't seen David in a minute. He's Canadian as well. Got a lot of Canadian and Michiganders watching the show. Okay, so check this out. According to, what is this? How Everything Works. Where did this come from? The claim from How Everything Works is that Flock plan to use dash cams in hundreds of thousands of Ubers and Lyfts to add to their surveillance network of 122,000 cameras. How Everything Works says, we are currently living in the surveillance state that Americans were jokingly saying that Chinese citizens would be living under. Community Note says Flock has reportedly pitched the idea of partnering with Nexar, who makes popular cloud-enabled dash cams for rideshare services. So maybe not Flock directly, maybe Nexar, but we're in it. The surveillance.
I guess the exact.
We can pinpoint the exact moment that Jonathan Kornacki crumbles. Missing Milwaukee USB sticks. Hannah says, yep, that's how 2020 happened. And someone got 81 million votes. It's called cheating. Diana, how about pass the Save America Act? But watch. What's the result? How can we report on the winner?
It's the exact thing, yes. Is if 5 of the USB sticks were missing results from the election, so then they have to go try to re-grab them.
They have to go try to re-grab them.
all the folks behind the scenes are talking about this as well. So we can also look. It's unfortunate.
The folks behind the scenes here, you're saying?
Yes, I guess
I love that moment. They are so stuck because when you got wonky, sloppy, untrustworthy voting tabulation schemes, it's hard to accurately report that, isn't it? Very hard to accurately report that if you've been calling,
I guess, the exact
election deniers for 6 years. You didn't believe what happened in 2020. Royce White, former NBA player, says that CNN canceled his interview. And he's upset that they're silencing black women. He's declared for the WNBA draft because he says, okay, if men who say that they're identifying as female can join the WNBA, he's identifying as female for the purposes of joining the WNBA. Eligibility rules, he's going to challenge it. WNBA still can't define it. They had a big meeting about it. They can't define it. They just say it's bad faith efforts. Yeah? So how do you determine when someone's in a good faith effort? Therein lies the impossible question that cannot be answered accurately. And that's sort of the point, exposing this.
An interview with CNN
Whoop. Hold on.
at 5 p.m. Central. And around 2, 3 o'clock, they messaged me and said, we're canceling the interview. We have other news. That's the universal excuse. We have other news. And I just, for the life of me, again, they're not giving black women a voice. Sometimes identifying as trans black women a voice on CNN. It's just blows my mind. It's disappointing. It is. It's a huge disappointment, especially CNN.
In order to change what's been happening, sometimes you gotta just, all right, let's play it your way. Let's show you what this looks like in practice. Can we agree we got to stop doing this now?
Set to do it.
We'll see. Spurgler Acolyte. Wow, that's a name. Question. Who voted for the Infinity Migrants Everywhere party? Oh, Infinity Migrants did. Okay. The Blaze shows this photo taken yesterday of voters casting ballots in Dearborn, Michigan. No idea who these people are. Covered up like a Halloween costume. But totally trust me, bro. I'm the person I say I am, and I'm totally legitimately eligible to vote. But you can't make me prove it. Impractical Jokers, Punked, Candid Camera. You're like, all right, where's the camera? Hold on, this can't be real. This isn't really happening, right? We're not. Okay. Who voted for Infinity Migrants Everywhere party? The Infinity Migrants. It's Elizabeth Say. Barkahana, typically starting in the mid-20th century, resettlement of refugee immigrants was geographically spread out in the U.S. Refugees are more reliant on government services and slower to assimilate. They don't speak English, which can overwhelm the towns and cities and states that they relocate to in ways other types of immigrants may not. Secondary migration of immigrant groups who wanted to create ethnic enclaves thwarted these efforts. Yeah, that's anti-assimilation. The result is city councils and congressional districts, and now maybe a U.S. Senate seat, dominated by refugee immigrant communities with values totally at odds with the American way of life. There needs to be a serious reckoning with our refugee immigration policy. They didn't come here to be Americans. They came here to conquer us. Who voted for the Infinity Migrants Everywhere party? Infinity Migrants. Oh. Instagram is weird. It won't let me click on some of these videos. Sometimes it does. British Columbia fire is still out of control. That's awful. 20,000 from Summerland evacuated. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, watch over Arn and the good folks of Canada and anywhere else that wildfires are being intentionally set by madmen. May they be brought to swift and vengeful justice and through natural causes, and may we be smart enough to contain them and stop them as soon as possible. Amen. Colin Rugg shares this video. Says ICE will be spending upwards of $20 million for shock gloves to help de-escalate confrontations with illegal immigrants, according to the Associated Press. Watch this. Here are some demonstrations of the shock gloves, and shut up and take my money. No music. No. No music. I mean, this very minimal effort. No music. What are we doing? I want to hear everyone go, ah! That guy must be trained. He reached to counter like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Do you see that one? Put your hands behind your back. Press it into the small of your back, and your hands go, ah! And then they're right back there for cuffing. I am all for as many ways to more safely, quickly cuff and immobilize the bad guys. That whole George Floyd situation, had that guy been cuffed and then lassoed underneath a cop car tire on a short leash, hands behind his back, get off of his back. A lot of people look at those autopsy results and say that Chauvin didn't take the life of George Floyd. George Floyd either overdosed, had a heart attack, panic attack, hereditary lethal fentanyl, some sort of combination, but it wasn't because the cop had his knee on the triangle of the neck, shoulder, back area that they were trained by the Minnesota police to restrain somebody. I mean, America could have avoided a big Democrat AstroTurf, anti-Trump, midsummer, summer of love, lawless riot scenario. Anything that can make an arrest faster, safer, I want that. These gloves appear to be fantastic. I want some. I saw this. I don't even know what I'm looking at, so I figured I had to share it with you. Bean explains. I can't click on it. It won't show me the original source for some reason. I don't know why Instagram does it on some videos, but not others. The claim is that Italy is at threat. That's tough to say. Italy is at threat. Italy is at threat of an economic crisis because the cheese banks are melting. What? Intense heat makes Parmesan harder to both create and store, and this cheese is used as collateral for bank loans. The great Parmesan crisis could lose Italy upwards of how much? 4.7, lots of zeros. So it's not 4,700. It's not 4.7 million. Is that 4.7 billion dollars? Am I reading that right? 6, 7, 8 zeros, 10 digits. The great Parmesan crisis. Okay, cheese banks are melting. I don't. That's great. But hey, here's a reminder. Look at what they took away from us. Oh, you're right. Yeah, those power gloves are awesome. Super proud of those. They look neat. I got to get me some of those shocker gloves. Shocker gloves. Only has 3 fingers. Fits like a glove. If you know, you know. Anyway, comparing, look at these laptops side by side. Look what they took away from us. You had all these external ports. Then you had some, then you had less. Now you're just down to 2 USB-Cs. Our Jenny says, I'm cleaning my garage and I'm keeping all the old movies, VHS players, and movies and CDs and etc. because we own nothing. Without internet and power, you have no music. Yeah. Get your important books printed. Get your favorite TV shows or movies. Get a physical copy. Yeah, this is cool. I cannot click any of these stories now to take you to the original source of the video. Cam Higbee says, yesterday I went to Minneapolis polls disguised as a Muslim woman. Poll workers were going to let me vote in other people's names and then vouch for 8 other unregistered foreigners. Full video coming soon. James O'Keefe. Gotta mute the music. Trying to mute the music. Green blue hair. There you go. No affidavits were touched or signed in the making of this video. It serves only to expose vulnerabilities. That mission was accomplished. Yeah, because that's what they would do. They would try to file charges on Cam Higbee and James O'Keefe for voter fraud if they exposed your voter fraud. That's how upside down all this stuff is. Nuts. I can't click on anything. I gotta hit refresh. This is so frustrating. And it's still not letting me. I don't know what the hell just happened. Passenger captures the Perseid meteors streaking across the sky over Istanbul. Maybe. Or maybe it's AI. Meteors or aliens? Mute. God. Every day it's something. Gentry Geevers says, yesterday in a league meeting, the WNBA could not decide what a woman is. They're out of their minds and backed into a corner because they might have to let Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White and Larry Sanders now into the WNBA draft. If they can't figure out what a woman is, it'll make a joke out of this league. This is checkmate for women's sports. I'm thankful these guys are brave enough to take a stand for girls and women everywhere.
We're going to keep bringing in immigrants in this country.
I agree. Who's this guy? Hassan Piker. He says we're going to keep bringing immigrants into this country on purpose.
On purpose. Just so they can fuck your sister and then maybe even your daughter.
Okay. There's a little bit of dopey music underneath it, so I can't share it. This Hassan Piker guy has got a plan for America, and he wants to fundamentally transform it. Buddy with the Democrat Party, the socialists.
We're going to destroy the white race, bitch. That's what we're here to do.
Huh. Okay.
This DSA puppet scumbag faggot terrorist did not stutter. They state their objectives openly and plainly. They're not hiding anymore. I can't say.
Wait, is the guy gay? Is that part of it? I'm not a super, I don't follow the guy, but you should follow him enough to know how dangerous he is.
What I want to happen to Hassan Piker on the internet. I can't. But just know that it is animalistic and horrible. Think of the worst thing you could possibly imagine. And it's worse. We need legislation that automatically disbands people from citizenship that claim these things. A retard, disgusting piece of trash immigrant from Turkey stating his goals for brown third world tyrant invaders to out.
Grok is saying no. Was in a relationship with an adult film actress. Single. Okay. Yeah, you gotta know who Son Piker is. I can't click on a single story to expand it. This is the weirdest day. But I think this is the video of that case from earlier. I believe it was Georgia, where they're trying to drop the charges.
He can see it. I don't want to know what happened. Come on.
By the way, why is it so often 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1? Why don't you just square up 1-on-1? This pack behavior attack stuff is really 3-on-1. That is some punk shit right there. That is some low-level garbage. By the way, no idea who the 3 perps and the 1 victim is. No idea. No idea what they look like. I'm just looking at the actions.
Good.
Okay, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel. Well, SPLC, just amidst all the stuff the Democrats try to tell you is evil about America, SPLC has been astroturfing a ton of it.
Good afternoon. Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups.
By the way, this says breaking, but I've played this for you before. It's just a good reminder that this is happening.
As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
Yep.
The indictment
astroturfed. It's like running the tire shop, but a quarter mile up the road, you're putting nails and screws in the road so people are getting flat tires and they're stalling at your location. You're causing the problem and then claiming to fix it. Democrat Senate nominee Abdul El Sayed reportedly oversaw the euthanasia of over 4,600 cats and dogs during his time as the executive director and health officer for the Detroit Health Department. I want to hammer him a little harder on this one, but I don't know that the numbers were drastically higher when he was there. What I will say, though, is if the facilities were full of filth, rats, in inhumane, torturous conditions, that is simple. I don't give a fuck, or I am incapable of doing a solid job at anything, or I have malice in my heart and I want to see these things tortured because dogs are filthy animals. I want this guy to lose in a landslide for 100 reasons. Is this the biggest story I want to keep hammering home about him? Well, maybe. The jury's still out because the records, I said, give me the last 10 years of the euthanasia numbers. And they were kind of able to label his 3 years, but the other years, you can't quite tell that it was up significantly, per se. So, but yeah, Mike Rogers, Michigan, vote against this guy. Look at this pile of trash. No, not El Sayed, the other pile of trash. It's not a pile of rubble. Look at that. Soldiers are building ghillie suits, blending into collapsed buildings and debris.
Зарылся, и тебя не видно.
Будет уже вот так вот. Оп.
Шикарный план, слушай, действительно, как будто куча мусора и все. Ребят, смотрите.
Transformers.
Какая штука. Ребят. Дань! Не видит пока.
Сейчас
не видно.
Сиди, они сейчас подойдут.
Присядут. Сейчас, погоди, проверь.
You could also do that in blue cities, I would imagine. Just crumple yourself into a corner and you'll be walked past forever. How about that? Gentry Geaver says, I swear the dumbest people are the liberals who moved from a blue state to a red state because of the policies, the crime, the education, the taxes, etc. And then continue to vote blue, the same party that had bad policies that led to higher crime, bad education, bad taxes, etc. There truly is no hope for those people. Please, people, don't be like that. Oh, look, I can finally click a story. Wow, that's been a while. Luigi Mangione.
But first, breaking tonight, news of an emergency court hearing tomorrow amid a report that the man accused of gunning down a healthcare insurance executive in Manhattan in late 2024 will plead guilty to federal charges. A senior Justice Department source insists there is no deal. This comes a few weeks.
All right, we'll skip past this because I think there's an update. But oh, doggone it. I want the chat on the screen, but then I can't see the screen that I'm showing on the screen. Woe is me. So yeah, Luigi. We'll get to Luigi. I believe he has pled guilty now. But what does that mean? Oh, take a look at this. This could definitely be AI or it could be repackaged from something else. But this says a tiny kitten was rescued alive among the rubble of a building in Pereira, Colombia after the earthquake shook the country. Several hours trapped in the rubble. So it's not from today, 2 months ago, but a kitten was found. And that's an awesome kitty. Then the sound goes off. That's how it is. How you treat animals says a lot about you. Not him. I want an update on that cat. Nice, the kitty. Exactly. Tugs at the hearts. Yeah, TNAM Animal Rescue. Go rescue something. Okay, CBS News shares this. Frontier pilot. All my flight attendants are falling ill during a Thursday morning flight. 2 crew members taken to the hospital. Fort Lauderdale Airport officials said. Flight landed safely at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport after the crew reported an in-flight illness upon approach.
All my flight attendants have headaches, and now 3, now 4, now just at approach. Flight like 1046, do a quick for the pilot stand left. If you could call the tower and have me just at our gate, Alpha 4 for developing medical.
You said Frontier Flight 1046, Alpha 4?
Alpha 4, number 6.
Frontier Flight 1046, reduce speed 1, actually speed 170 or greater, and what's the medical emergency?
170 or greater, Frontier Flight 1046, all my flight attendants have headaches, and now 3, now 4, now just, all my flight attendants have headaches.
Okay, not sure what was happening there, but shit. You've heard about the discombobulator, and you also heard about Cuba. What was that? Cuba syndrome? Was it Cuba syndrome? China, Ghana, Cuba. People were having headache, like they felt like a directed energy weapon was being used on them as like ambassadors or something. I think it was Cuba. You know, and then conflicting reports. No, there was nothing to that. And then you go, no, there was something totally to that. They were getting attacked.
All my flight attendants.
So now we got to keep our eyes peeled in the sky to see if any other air. And I'd love to know an update. What caused it? Was there something in the air system? Was it just a regular illness going around or what?
They talk about.
Well, the five in Gutfeld seem to be pro data center. And I get it. If we don't build AI, the Chinese or the woke model is going to try to rewrite reality as backward garbage. I don't want to be left on the sideline for that. I'd rather have non-woke, American-made artificial intelligence. It's here. Like, there's no putting it back, no genie going back into the bottle. But I think, like Vivek said, you know, like if there's going to be a data center, it needs to make the energy free for the community. They need to create their own. No water waste, and they need to be on their own water systems. I go steps further, say it should be back buried into the ground so there's no humming or buzzing or EMF or 5G disruptions to the local ecosystem. No sound or no. Yeah, Gutfeld is going to talk about the demonization campaign of AI data centers.
They talk about water. It uses so much water. Almond orchards use 90 times more water in California alone than data centers do nationwide. The water used by data centers are non-potable. Is that what you say, non-potable? Often recycled, constantly recycled throughout, and they're improving on it. It's not competing with drinking supplies the way agriculture or almonds do. So do not fall for this. And I'm telling you, all this Sturm and Drang, is that the words?
Strum and Drang.
Strum and Drang, whatever. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because it's going to be just like the internet. You're going to have it wherever you go, and it's going to change your life. They talk about.
And they're also saying that the new chips are going to have cooling built in, so you don't need all the water flowing, and there should be no pollution. There should be no pollution in the water supply. It should be a closed loop system, and the data center should contain and treat all of that. Just how things were going up without any guidelines. It almost made it the worst part. Let alone
they talk about water. It uses.
Is the surveillance the worst part, or is it drinking too much water the worst part? How about both? Science Explored shared this. They say this is the shadow of a tree during an eclipse. Did you see this? Sort of looks like the movie Hail Mary Project. Those little things.
Is this part of the eclipse? I don't know. It could be. Looks strange. I've never seen it before.
Go out. They're saying during a solar eclipse, Science Explored. I'll follow it. Why not? The small gaps between leaves on trees can act as pinhole cameras. Each gap projects an image of a partially eclipsed sun onto the ground, creating multiple crescent-shaped images. The phenomenon is similar to how a pinhole camera works, where light passes through a small aperture and projects an inverted image onto the surface. A fascinating natural occurrence that demonstrates the principles of optics. This was pretty great. Did you see this one? The White House made a Rubio realizing meme collage for his birthday, May 28th, which the president and others signed. It's got him wearing all the different hats, doing all the different jobs, and they signed it. Marco realizing. Very funny. Oh, how many people signed? Every one of those boxes is another signature? That's great. Like a big birthday card. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I'd hang that on the wall.
Who freed?
Bill Maher talking about how he's done with the new Democratic left, but I think there's music.
Who freed the slaves? Republicans. Lincoln.
Democrats were the racist party back then when he says it's the Democratic Socialists of America actually communist. Well, here's why. Because not a week goes by where you don't read about some newly chosen, exciting new face in the Democratic Party. And then when that face opens its mouth, the Communist Manifesto or some other crazy shit spills out. Again, let's just read the quotes. The DSA platform says you work as much as you are able and no more. Couldn't be any closer to Karl Marx's dictum, from each according to his abilities to each according to their means. She could be sued for plagiarism. New York Mayor Mamdani once tweeted, Karl Marx's words exactly. They're not trying to hide it. Their most popular influencer, Hassan Piker, thinks communism is so groovy. He laments the fall of two of the most murderous regimes in history, the Soviet Union, Chairman Mao's China. Mamdani's top aide, Sia Weaver. If you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over. And impoverish the middle class. That's a goal. Or maybe it's the white middle class. This is moving fast to read. Darelisa Chevalier. Seize the means of production. The end goal is seizing the means of production of Mamdani. I think that means seize the production. Maybe you missed that in school, or I missed school altogether, but that's communism, which we tried. It doesn't work. Bill Maher, done with the Democrats. Oh, get a load of this. We got an update, folks. Drum roll, please. Nick Sorter reports the DOJ has arrested the scumbag who vandalized the World War II memorial in D.C. yesterday, per U.S. Attorney Pirro. And she looks exactly as you'd expect. Melissa L. Ferris is now being hit with 2 felonies, with each one carrying up to 10 years each. FAFO. It's a lousy post because this is over top of the video of allegedly where she's arrested, baby. Rose says, are you sure that's a Melissa, not a Mel? More. But they've been that's a win. Stop doing government that.
So I know we have like some efforts.
Oh, check this out from Unwoke. This feels like this has to be fake, but I don't think it is. West Hartford Board of Administrators, Connecticut School Board member. I'll just let her say it in her own words.
So I know we have like some efforts to increase diversity in the district. So I'm wondering,
efforts to increase diversity in the district. And so she's wondering, will everyone wear cat ears now? She's wearing a dog bone on her head, or cat ears. Just to set the seriousness to this appropriate. Just trying to gauge my seriousness level for this moment.
especially around administration. Are there financial incentives for Black and brown people to work here?
Are there financial incentives to work here? Yeah, that's called a paycheck. She's specifically asking, are there financial incentives for Black and brown? Basically, we don't want to work with the whiteys. Maybe not that far, but are there financial incentives for Black and brown people to work here? You mean other than a paycheck?
It's an extra burden, quite frankly, to be a Black and brown teacher and administrator.
Go on. It's an extra burden. Judges? No, they're going to need some more elaborate. You're going to need to elaborate on that one.
In the district. And so I think we should start thinking about that financially if we're not already.
And I think she's chewing gum while she's doing it. Wearing cat ears. saying I need a black and brown bonus. Is her case black and round? What? Rob saying, I wonder if they really believe that stuff or if they're trolling just to stir up crap. You know, at some point, what's the difference? What difference at this point does it make? Patriot Warrior says, Todd Blanche, we want the deep state. We're running out of time. Exactly. Patriot Warrior wants a set of those gloves. Yeah, those gloves, man. Those things look fantastic. Look at the... Joanne asks, should black and brown students pay extra to go to school if they are more of a burden? Because this lady says she wants to be paid more because being black or brown is a burden. I kind of feel like in a society that's been specifically, almost single-handedly targeting straight white Christian males, Republican males, libertarian males. No, I think the burden has been just being a dude that resembles me in many ways, just trying to grow up and play the game based on the rules that everybody in the football game has to abide by. It's not harder to play running back if you're black or brown. It's not harder to play wide receiver if you're black or brown. It's not harder to... No. It is hard to figure out if these people are being serious. Who do you mean these people? People wearing cat ears, chewing gum, making ridiculous asks at local community meetings. Those people. People that wear cat ears. That's what I mean by those people. Yeah, racism got worn out. Yeah, they overplayed the hand over and over and over. Are there any financial incentives to working here? Because being black is hard. That's not an actual quote. Or
I know we call ourselves leaders, and I know we have an Office of Equity and Belonging, so I'm sure we can figure it out. We got money. It's West Hartford. So I know we have like...
Yeah, I think it's a skit. But let me get the exact quote.
Some efforts to increase diversity in the district. So I'm wondering, especially around administration, are there financial incentives for black and brown people to work here?
I just love, are there financial incentives to work here? Yeah, it's called a paycheck. That's an incentive.
It's an extra burden, quite frankly, to be a black and brown teacher. And
okay, it didn't say being black is hard. It says being black or brown is an extra burden. It's equally ridiculous.
Administrator in the district. And so I think we should start thinking about that financially if we're not already.
Your Socialist Party, people.
So I know we have like...
Retire every Democrat. Just because it's so good and it's so important, it's so culturally relevant. If you missed it when I played it when it first happened, here it is one more time.
I was called a murderer because I...
This is Pat McAfee. He was slandered as a murderer because he put Aaron Rodgers on to an interview. And Aaron Rodgers was asking questions and making claims and not buying Fauci's lies. Guess who is accurate at the end of the day on this one? Who would have ever thought?
I was platforming Aaron Rodgers, who was making the decision that was best for himself. So as soon as I see all this start happening with Fauci, I knew that, boy, you were certainly having a time because your name was slandered. You were called a murderer. You were called a lot of things.
I was endangering my teammates and this and that. Now look what happened. We talked about they suppressed early treatments. They lied about where it came from. Tony Fauci's writing in his journal about, I don't want to, create any vaccine hesitancy if I tell them what the actual stats are. How many papers have been written? How many McCulloughs and Malones and all the great doctors out there who actually did treatment on the front end and repurposed drugs that are the safest profiles in the world. But no, Tony Fauci pushing his medicine just like he did back in the 80s. And now, when you have an auto pen pardon,
hey Jay, you know what happened.
You have an auto pen pardon, but and you can't answer one question.
Hey, now real quick,
not even your name. I mean, come on. What are we doing?
Can we do this real
And how
quick?
much time did the network spend on that?
Hey, can we do something for you real quick?
How much time?
Hey, can we do something for you real quick?
Yeah.
Hey, way to stand on your truth throughout the entirety of that thing.
Oh, I feel
honestly.
great about it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you should. I feel great about it.
Congratulations.
I told you I'd be on the right side of history when I had that mustache that we were in New York. Yep. Welcome.
Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, Pat McAfee. Yeah, Aaron is a pureblood. He didn't take the thing.
I was called a
Minnesota.
See Stephen Miller, play Stephen Miller. He's got thoughts about fraud.
Minnesotan who works as a lineman.
A native Minnesotan who works as a lineman was the beginning of that clip.
Or works as a construction worker, works in any job that requires hard work, dedication, focus, who's worried about his ability to support for and provide his family. And then imagine that he has a neighbor who's a Somali refugee who arrived 2 years ago and has a Mercedes and no financial stress and no worries at all in the entire world and never seems to ever go to work at all because he just went to an office in the state, lied on a piece of paper, and got unlimited free money forever for life. That is the system that is being run, and that is the corruption that this task force under the leadership of the vice president is going to demolish. And I'll just give Minnesotan.
Demolish the theft. Thank you for that. Keep it going. Keep it going. Okay. Let me tell you about Luigi real quick. But first, let me remind you, we are crowdfunded on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. Please consider signing up to become a monthly subscriber like so many of you have. Thank you. You are appreciated beyond the words that I could articulate to say thanks. I bartend. I show up every day. You guys come in here and hang out for lunch. And if you like what's happening, toss a tip at your boy. You can do Rumble Rant tips or Super Chat tips, Venmo or Cash App, or PayPal. It's all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. What a wonderful time to consider doing such a thing. All right. Let's figure out what Luigi has done. Today, pled guilty in federal court in Manhattan to the 2 remaining federal charges against him in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, according to Reuters. Interstate stalking resulting in death, stalking through the use of interstate facilities resulting in death. Interstate facilities, that's all the same thing. I don't know how there's such a, I don't know what the differentiation. Well, no, he drove on a road to get there. What are we, okay. I'm not saying we make excuses or allow it, but I'm also saying, what are we talking about? These were the only federal counts left. Stalking resulting in death. So there's no manslaughter, there's no murder. The judge earlier dismissed more serious charges, including a murder charge that had carried the potential for the death penalty. Why was a murder charge dropped by a judge? That makes no sense. Mangione admitted the killing, stating words to the effect of, "I shot Mr. Thompson in Manhattan and he died," and that he knew what he was going to do was illegal. He described aspects of the planning, including travel, researching the conference, and using a 3D printed gun with a silencer. Why'd he do it? There was no formal plea deal with prosecutors, no agreement on a reduced sentence or other concessions. He simply changed his prior not guilty to guilty. His lawyers indicated this was a way to accept full responsibility for Thompson's death while positioning the defense to argue that the parallel New York State prosecution constitutes double jeopardy, being prosecuted twice for the same conduct. So what comes next? It's according to Grok and taken from Reuters and CNN now. In the federal case, sentencing is scheduled for December 18 of 26 before U.S. District Judge Margaret Garnett. Each count carries a maximum of life in prison. Prosecutors have said they will seek a life sentence. He remains in federal custody. Now on the state case. He still faces state charges, including second-degree murder, plus weapons and related counts. The state trial had been set to begin around early September 26. Immediately under the federal plea, his lawyers filed a motion to dismiss the state case on double jeopardy grounds. Under New York law, a prior federal prosecution that ends in a guilty plea can potentially bar a successive state prosecution for the same conduct. The outcome of that motion will determine whether the state murder trial goes forward. So, the federal trial is now avoided via the guilty plea, and the state case's future depends on the pending double jeopardy motion. Who saw that coming? Thought maybe he was going to play this up for fame. What do I know? That's Luigi for you. All right, switching over to the New American Media on X. Pinned at the top of our page is our Patreon link. Everybody go to Patreon. Go to our X feed. It's right here at the top. Click it and subscribe. There's a free version. Everybody at least do the free version, please. All right. Daily Caller says 64-year-old Rosie O'Donnell says that filming a sex scene with her longtime friend Cynthia Nixon on HBO's And Just Like That, well, she called the experience horrifying. She was so nervous. O'Donnell played a nun who breaks her vow of chastity with Nixon's character. Horrifying, she called it. Horrifying. You know, I don't know if I've ever posted my Rosie O'Donnell video. It's on one of my old hard drives. Oh, she was a witch. She hated me. And it's so nice that she hated me. She is such a vile, despicable person. Who did this and why? Why is President Trump lifting Rosie O'Donnell? All right. We don't need to see that. We don't need to know any more about that story, but thank you. Oh, good grief. Check out yesterday's show. Karoline Leavitt steps down. Widespread voter fraud claims rock 2026 primaries. Michigan GOP putting out the war on Thanksgiving. Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed like Wisconsin's failed DSA candidate Francesca Hong, has a problem with Thanksgiving. It appears that Abdul El Sayed wants to replace Thanksgiving with reparations for indigenous peoples. Just a reminder this Thanksgiving, this country was built on the systematic annihilation of indigenous peoples whose ancestors suffer some of the highest rates of homelessness, joblessness, and mortality today. We owe so much more than thanks. Time for reparations. Unless this is edited, this should be disqualifying. Richard Gunnell says he hates college football. He hates Mackinac Island. He hates 4th of July fireworks, and he hates Thanksgiving. This isn't what Michigan is about. Richard Grinnell, I agree. You're about rooting for a subpar college football team that loses to The Ohio State University. Republicans call Abdul a puppy killer. 4,000 puppies and kittens killed under his watch. If you vote Democrat again, you want to know what you're getting? Well, Kamala Harris is revisiting calls to, remove the system that wouldn't let you steal the country last time.
Structural change. I think we need to revisit the efficacy of the Electoral College. I think we need to expand the Supreme Court and look at reforms. So much of what we are dealing with right now, back to the point of just a violation of civil rights and all that your parents and mine fought for, the Supreme Court decisions by this court that was basically at this point hand-selected by Donald Trump. Structural change.
And Amy Coney Barrett, by the way, is hardly an ally to President Trump. Newsmax says Chuck Schumer wants answers. He demands the Trump admin immediately brief lawmakers on the security threat that prompted the Secret Service into secretly moving President Trump onto a decoy aircraft during his return from last month's NATO summit in Turkey. Who cares? Go home already, Chuck. And by the way, X is doing it again. Many more things were shared. Many more stories that I wanted to discuss were shared, and I don't see them. RNC Research asks, why are Democrats fighting to segregate voters by race?
That the
Hakeem Jeffries.
Trump administration and that Republicans have adopted voter suppression.
Voter integrity. It's not movie suppression to require people at your movie theater to purchase and provide you a ticket to vote, proving eligibility. That's not movie suppression. That's common sense. It's not music suppression to require you show us a valid ticket to enter the venue and see the concert. That's not music suppression.
As an electoral strategy. And they're going to do everything they can to try to rig the election in their favor. We've already seen that through the gerrymandering efforts.
Gerrymandering efforts were Democrats slicing and dicing neighborhoods to try to get as many black voters, or black and brown, like the lady previously said. The one that wanted paid more for the same job. A lady who, by the way, might have been clamoring, saying, I can't work the same job for 70 cents on the dollar, but I want to be paid 70 cents more on the dollar compared to Whitey. Yeah, Democrats have been racially gerrymandering districts to rig Congress for a very long time. Now, when you call that out, then Hakeem Jeffries, he's trying to spin it, but he's not clever enough to do it.
And then the Supreme Court aided and abetted
removing your Democrat racism policies.
The MAGA extremists.
No. Shut up with your MAGA extremist phrase. Like shut your yap. I'm not tolerating that. Don't you dare bring that MAGA extremist garbage in here.
By unleashing Jim Crow-like tactics in the South. And, we've seen that now in Tennessee and in Louisiana and in Alabama.
No, they're removing your racist. In America, we don't segregate for votes. Hakeem is backward on this complaint. SCOTUS reversed obvious bias, racism, and divisive deep state Democrat tactics. America is healing. Good grief. Instead of working for Americans, Democrats' top priority, according to Democrat Jake Auchincloss, impeaching Secretary Pete Hegseth. Okay. Or we could vote Democrats into retirement. You tell me. Gibberish over on Rumble. Everybody, thank you for watching on Rumble. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and consider becoming a subscriber on Rumble and YouTube and Patreon. Gibberish says the Electoral College allows for equal state representation in elections. So by all means, the mob wants control, wants one big collective, or we put you in the prisons that we just emptied. Or we'll make room for you. Democrat Ro Khanna is suggesting it's racist in America, and we need a multiracial New Deal to be the world's first multiracial cohesive democracy. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Ro Khanna. Fun times. And this is so strange to me. Every show we do, we walk you through how the sausage is made, because I am the producer, I'm the engineer, I'm the on-air talent, I'm the call screener, I'm all the things. And right now, I'm the guy that noticed the super chat from Mr. Kenneth. Here's to the robust. Back to the bust phrase, or to Ro Khanna. Maybe you capitalized the bust, but we should have capitalized the Ro for Ro Khanna. $10 super chat. Kenneth sitting at this bar seat here, tossed a silver coin that went right into that. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. It's about 2.5 gallons of gas. I appreciate that because you stack those wins together, and that's how you make a day out of your day. But what I find really weird, thank you, Kenneth, if I scroll down, instead of the stories that I shared earlier today, it's showing my show from yesterday. Then it's showing another clip from yesterday. Then another clip from yesterday. Then another clip from yesterday. Then a show from 2 days ago. Then a show from 2 days ago. And then back to Hillary Clinton. But I covered this stuff. And there were new posts that were made. And now they're just not here. There were other stories that we found, that we shared. Wonder if a quote tweet won't show up now. Like if we just retweet something, maybe it's not showing up in the feed because it is showing the ones where we added a sentence to it. Okay. Well, I guess maybe we can't just tweet stuff because there were several stories we shared. Posts. But it's showing posts. I swear to you, I did have a few more stories, but I think that's where we're going to wrap it up today. Because that's all that's showing on there. Interesting. Interesting. Well, we're trying to survive Restream. They're trying to charge us more for the monthly service to go above 5 channels. So we had to we ditched Twitch and we're streaming on Kick today. We're probably going to alternate those. We're also streaming on Facebook, X, and YouTube, and Rumble, of course. But we survived that. We survived the update, the browser update. We survived. What else did we survive? The Instagram weirdness where we couldn't click and get the original source video to get the context of what was posted. And now we're surviving how many of the X stories from the past 2 days are no longer showing up in our feed. Oh, we're not on Kick today, but we are on Twitch. Okay, yeah, we're trying to alternate that. It sucks. They're just trying to squeeze more money out of us every single day. Every single day, they're trying to squeeze more money out of us. Everyone. Everyone, every month, man. And it's like you go, nope, expenses this month are normal. And then it's like there's auto build things every 12 months. And you go, geez. All right, there's another $800, not just for the vet. There's an $800 for the 6 months of car insurance. Oh, here's another big unexpected thing for this. It's like every month you can expect the unexpected, even if your expenses are minimal. It's like the water bill I looked at. My God, my actual amount of water usage is minuscule. Everything is about 15 for this, for sewers, and 20 for or whatever it's called, the water and power. Everything was like a built-in surcharge, and my actual use was like that. I'm like, how do you reduce this $130 monthly water bill? And it's like it's just fees just to be connected to the sewer system. You got to pay $130 just you go. Good gracious, you know? Yeah, Arnold's out there buying diesel fuel. Yeah, and the prices go up really quick, and they're very slow to come back down. It was almost like $3.85 a gallon for regular gas. That's just kind of crazy. Gibberish says, okay, the debate has entered the final break. Candace hasn't provided a single page of evidence, just her version of how she feels, never truly answers a direct question, so it's going just as most thought it was going to. Patriot Warrior says, because she can't. Well, you know, that is part of what I retweeted. I retweeted stuff that were clips from Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson, debate with Patrick Bet-David. I was going to play you a couple clips, but X decided to not show you those on my profile today. But everybody hit like on our X account. Yeah, happy Friday, happy weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know the plans over the weekend, but we'll plan to be back on Monday at noon Eastern time. Just, stay tuned for the random unscheduled show. They do occur from time to time. So, yeah, no promises. But yeah, football season's getting kicked in. So, football shows will be back. I know it's, irrelevant and not super useful or helpful to many, but it's important and useful and helpful to me. It helps balance my competitive spirit, and it brings me great joy. I'm allowed to love football. I loved playing football. I want to play right now. Would I join a flag football league? Huh. I don't know. Love the game. But yeah, I'll be back on Monday, noon Eastern time, to deliver the TNAM Daily Show. So I hope you all have a great weekend out there, a blessed and safe weekend as well. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.